My story starts here with Blaine Bullington and Tina Paetzel. Back then, they had different plans. He wanted to work as a radio personality. She wanted to be a nurse. They both wanted to pursue a college degree after high school, but for financial reasons, this didn't happen. Instead, they got married and started a family. This is where I enter the scene. My parents loved being parents, but kids meant new expenses.
I'm gonna put my family back together again.
And so after I was born, my dad took a job with PepsiCo. He's been there for more than 3 decades. It's long days of lifting cases of soda to grocery store shelves over and over, the kind of work that drains you physically. For as long as I can remember, my dad has woken at 4 in the morning. He brews a pot of coffee, drinks the whole thing, and heads into work before the sun rises, long before grocery stores are open to the public. He did this so that he could be home in the evenings every day with us. On so many occasions, my dad looked into college. From time to time, he'd pull that dream out, look it over, talk about it with our mom. We could see how excited it made him. But so many of the programs were traditional in structure, and going to school would mean giving up his full-time job and the income it provided. He was the primary provider for our family, and as such, he never felt like he could justify doing this thing for himself. And so, just as he had before, he would eventually put that dream back on the shelf and continue on. When I was 10, my mom started working on her degree. She finished it 6 years later. We didn't fully understand the magnitude of what she'd accomplished back then. Our mom worked every day. She picked us up, got us home, made dinner, and then she would leave for class. When she returned, it would be dark and late, and she would get right to work on her homework. When she wasn't in class, she was helping us with our homework. There were so many nights when she was up working when my dad started brewing that first pot of coffee, but it didn't matter. This meant something to her. She wanted us, all of us, to be proud of her. My parents were going to make sure that we had the opportunity to go to college, even though it meant Parent Plus loans, private loans, and second jobs. It would take 5 years and several major changes before I graduated, but when I did, they were so proud, and they continued to be proud as they watched my siblings graduate also. In fact, nothing made my parents prouder than watching their 4 children walk across the stage. Now I recognize what we had in our parents that we didn't even know to value until much later. We had support. My parents watched me flounder and struggle to find my way, and they gave me the space to explore. They didn't pressure me to pick something, and they didn't give me a hard time when I changed course. They didn't understand the higher education system, but they trusted it. They knew its value, and they knew the significance of the experience. They wanted to make sure their children could have that experience. And they were right. Education transformed me. I was a shy kid. Education gave me a voice. It gave me the confidence I never imagined I could possess. And I knew I wanted to be part of that process in some way. In higher education, I have found such joy. And that joy comes from working with my students. Some are ambitious and excited for the journey. Some are nervous. Some know exactly what they want to do. Others are on a path of exploration. All deserve support every step of the way. I have been lucky to have so much support, and not just while I was growing up. Meet Dan, my very best friend turned husband. Last December, I mentioned that I was considering a doctoral program. I was 4 months pregnant with our 3rd child. Our oldest is about to start kindergarten, so life is a little hectic. I imagine many would be apprehensive about this plan at our stage of life, but not the man I married. He said, go for it. And he's continued to say that. In Dan, I have a partner who steps up time and time again, including traveling to Greenville on those weekends when I have class, when I wasn't totally ready to leave our son just yet. Twice now, my family has traveled and stayed in Greenville so that I could pursue this dream. They have posted up in hotel rooms, swam in the indoor pools, eaten hotel breakfast, explored Greenville from top to bottom while I sat in class, so that at the end of the day, I didn't have to go back to an empty hotel room. I could go back to my family. I feel like the luckiest person in the world. So why am I here? Probably for some of the reasons that many of you are. The doctoral degree has always been a dream of mine. This is the highest mark in our field, and I want to achieve that. But just like so many of you, there are many other reasons. These are my reasons.
The door, one gonna leave me restless, another wanting more. You're gonna keep my soul, it was yours there long ago.
I want them to be proud of me. More than anything in this world, I want them to be proud of me. When I learned I'd been admitted to the program, I called my dad. He paused for a moment, as is the way with my dad when he's really processing something, and then he said, "Dr. Bullington, that's going to sound so good."